All right, back to what we do best, and that is fire up about Australian politics with just 59 days to go until a federal election. Now, that date will get a lot quicker than we expect because an election could be called as soon as the week after the budget, which is, of course, up next week. Remember, the 17th of May is when this term officially runs out, so the clock is ticking. 59 days left of Anthony Albanese's first term as Prime Minister. Will Australia send him back with his own majority? Unlikely. Minority? Probably. But there is an outside chance, and again, I'll show you the numbers that say he could be this one-term wonder, but we'll all find out together. What did the Prime Minister do today? Well, of course, he's governing. He's not campaigning, apart from the fact that he was campaigning today in Queensland. He made an announcement that, yes, again, costs billions of dollars. Now, remember, the budget deficit will be confirmed next week, meaning every dollar that you have heard spent and promised by this bloke is on the credit card. $2.5 billion, but the hitch is you've got to build the arena he wants built for the Olympics, not one maybe Queenslanders want.
We have $3.4 billion on top of the Brisbane Arena funding.
Billions of dollars that he does not have. Billions of dollars that you are going to have to pay when it comes to debt. But who cares? There's an election in just, 59 days? Of course, this is a trend from the Prime Minister. We have kept an eye on every spending announcement he has made, and this is just a few since January.
A $7.2 billion announcement today. $5 million. $10 million. $200 million. $3 billion. $350 million. $2 billion. $37 million. $842 million. $2.4 billion. $8.5 billion. $4.8 billion. $1 billion. $3.4 billion.
It is just so easy to spend other people's money, isn't it? Again, deficit next week will be confirmed. Then we go off to an election with every dollar promised being one we cannot afford. The best part now of $40 billion that he's promised so far this year. As for the alternative Prime Minister, Peter Dutton, out and about today, trying to focus on national security, suggesting that there should be changes to citizenship tests to make sure that we don't let anti-Semites into the country.
Our argument is that we have millions of people who have migrated to our country who are amazing Australians, and we should celebrate more, frankly, in our country, the great migrant story. But we should make it clear that when people come here to our country, we want people to adhere to the rule of law.
Well, I think the question could be even broader than the one in and around anti-Semitism. What about this one? When faced with a choice of the laws of the land or the laws of your faith, which one do you think takes precedence? Anyone who suggests anything but the laws of the land, no. You don't go past go, you don't get $200, you don't get family reunion. Now, let's talk about the run-up to the election. 59 days away. When that election is called, that fast becomes 33. So we're not going to go the full 59 days. But as you know, we spend most of our time on this program trying to give you some numbers, trying to give you some data, trying to give you some insights that are not just polls, but also deeper information that is behind them. Now, we often talk about the gender divide that exists in Australian politics, and it is particularly pronounced at this election. But when you have a look at the overall split of the number of voters, it is very close to 50-50. Now, yes, it's about 400,000 more female voters than male. For the first time, people are able to identify themselves as neither of those genders. They do have those numbers and they do put them up on the AEC. But for the point of clarity, 18 million people get to vote, 9.1 female, 8.7 male. So when you hear and read polls that women have turned on the Labor Party, well, you start to think, oh, well, there's no way back here. Well, as you know, the two-party preferred polling is all based off what they guess is going to be preferences. If the One Nation vote is as high as we've seen it in the past little while, of going up from 5% at the last election to maybe 7 or 9%, those preferences, well, nobody knows where they end up. If the majority of them end up with the Liberal Party, then they can end up winning. But for now, the first time, the majority of the polls is now showing Labor with its nose in front. News poll, 51-49 in favour of the coalition. The Freshwater poll has the Liberal National Party just in front of the ALP. The Essential poll, which does have undecided, is 47 apiece. piece. The Redbridge poll, now that's of course the people put together with our mates Cos Samaras, and we talked to him on state of the race. That is now 51-49 in favour of Labor. The Liberal Party is still leading with the bookies. However, the numbers are starting to come in, particularly with the Morgan poll, which is the outlier at Labor at 54 and a bit to 45 and a bit. Which now brings us to trying to do a little bit of guesswork about this gender divide. If obviously there are slightly more females than males, they vote slightly more for the Labor Party than the Coalition, then obviously Labor, the Greens, the Teals, all the rest of them, they end up with their nose in front.